Welcome, brave adventurers, to Dark Souls. How's it going, guys? It's your boy Billy, and these are the Lost Adventures. The first couple parts of the playthrough we've been going through got a little corrupted with the audio, so we're re-recording. Just gonna start a new game here. Alright. Here we go. I know you guys are real interested in the lore, so we're gonna let the intro cutscene play, and I'll get back to you guys once that's over. Let's do it!
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons.
And then the Big Bang. Nah, science.
But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death. And of course, light and dark.
People always blame the 1%, it's always been fire, man.
Then from the dark, they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten.
The bitch.
With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skins. Witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Dun, dun, dun. let's get into it. You can tell we switched from the CG cutscene to in-game rendering.
The dark sign brands the undead.
Also got much quieter here.
And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Looking a little rough there. So this game and the way its story is constructed, it's a little bit more open-ended. So I'm not gonna just wax about it the entire time or explain every single thing or spoil anything coming up, but right now we're in the Undead Asylum. That's why we're looking a little jerky like right now, but we're getting out of here. That kind knight dropped us the key, so we're on our way to start our adventure. Alright, so I will go over the controls a little bit. So I'm using an Xbox controller right now, but this is the Steam version of the game. But you'll see all the button prompts are using the Xbox interface. Alright, right stick is camera, left is movement. It's omnidirectional. You can, for example, you can roll with B, and you can do that diagonally if you want. These are just little tutorial messages on the ground, and these are placed by the developer, but some of them are actually placed by other players. There's an item that lets you make little messages with preset constraints. We'll get into that later. So, the combat in this game is interesting. Right bumper is your light attack, and the trigger is heavy. Not sure why it's not working right now, but yeah, I don't know why it's not working. Okay, so B is roll, but it controls your movement in general, so if you hold it, you can also run. And there's no jump in this game, but if you run long enough and tap B again, you do a little bit of a little hop and a roll to help you get into certain areas. This game also has a lock-on mechanic, so we don't need to actually fight any of these guys, but you'll notice that it uses the enemy as the axis you rotate around whenever you're locked on. And that can be a really useful feature, especially in single target fights, because you can maneuver behind them mid-swing to backstab. I didn't mean to hit him. I'm just gonna walk on. Sorry, buddy. He'll be alright. Yeah, there's a lot of undead around here just stoned out of their minds, just leaning against walls and crying in the corner. Alright, made it to our first bonfire. It's lit! Okay, so bonfires are kind of interesting. So they are the checkpoints in Dark Souls. So if you clear a level but you don't rest at the bonfire and you get killed, when you respawn, you'll return to the last bonfire you rested at. So you want to make sure that you find these as quick as you can. And 9 times out of 10 you'll want to rest at them, but sometimes the problem with the bonfires, sorry for the sniffles there, is that you'll actually respawn all the enemies in the area. So if you clear an area and you're really low in health, you can rest at a bonfire to gain your vitality back, but you also have to face the whole challenge again. So sometimes it's worth it to just risk it and move on, but most of the time you'll want to take a rest at the campfire there. Alright, here we go. First boss! You'll notice we can't actually hurt this guy yet. I mean, we can, but do very little damage to him. Enemies are tough, but not that tough. You're not supposed to be able to kill him quite yet, so what we can do is get the heck out of here. He can't chase us through there. Huh, look at him. Alright. Got another bonfire. Now, I said 9 times out of 10. I'm not actually going to rest at this one. You can, but we don't really have anything. It would give us back anyway. We're at full health. Doesn't really matter. So we're going to press on. Alright. Got our shield now. That's our left weapon. So it's going to be the opposite bumpers. So left bumper is going to block. We're going to hold that in. And we got our sword. Okay, so as before, when you lock on, it uses the enemy as your axis. So we're gonna use that to our advantage. And if you hold right bumper while you're behind an enemy, you actually do a backstab critical attack. So that takes care of that guy. Backstep and roll. Yeah, if you hold B when you're stationary, or tap B, sorry. You tap B when you're stationary, you'll do a little bit of a backstep, which can be useful. Up. Yeah, it gives you a bit of a taste. This is Dark Souls, so there are traps around every corner. This could be our first NPC. I think this is actually the knight who saved us, so yeah, talk to him.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. And thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
Got that Sunny D.
Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
I could never tell with his family saying there if it's just the being chosen or that whole part about thine exodus from the undead asylum, because that seems very specific to our case, but nice little bit of Deus Ex Machina there. The guy's just got all the keys for us, so we're gonna escape. I think that he fought his way in to try to help us escape, so. And that the other thing he gave us is an Estus flask, and this is actually our health potion. So Estus flasks are actually bottled fire, which is why that when you rest at a bonfire, they actually refill. So we start out with 5, but you can increase your capacity later on. Oh, took a hit there. Sure why the heavy attack's not working. Okay, so the other mechanic we have, I don't know why this is happening, but the triggers aren't really functioning properly on this controller, so I actually have to use the keyboard for some action. So another thing we can do other than block is we can parry. So when this guy goes to swing, you can also get a critical attack that way, so without having to backstab. It's a little riskier, but if you time it right, it definitely pays off. Oh, yep, as it says right here. So yeah, pay attention to these little messages on the ground. They can really help you figure out where you're going next. But be wary because players can put them down too, and sometimes that's helpful and sometimes they're just trolling. Gonna do a plunge attack here. That's almost half his health bar. We're much better equipped for this fight now. If we tried to fight him with a little broken sword before, that would have taken a little while. Oh! Got me the area of effect there. We're still a little weak, so our block isn't going to help us a lot here, which is why I'm just rolling to avoid his attacks, because he's got a big ol' hammer. And that is the first boss down. We got another key. We're going to take a look at these real quick. So our starting gift for our character, we chose the Master Key. So certain locks in the game, that'll just help us open right away. We got the dungeon key when we first escaped, the general asylum key, and now we can escape. Got some humanity there. We'll talk about that in the next area. There's some heavy doors. Alright. Good job, go straight ahead. Alrighty then. Goodbye, Asylum. Bye. We're out of here.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen.
Oh! Never.
To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
It's pretty appropriately named. Thank you, helpful bird friend. Yeah, we're still looking a little rough. Level up and kindle at bonfires. Alright, we made it to Firelink Shrine. I will see you guys in the next one.